Now let us move on to the non-cooperation movement which took place in the countryside, the rebellion in the countryside. In this movement, in this non-cooperation movement, the struggle was of the peasants and the tribal people. Struggle of the peasants against the landlords and struggle of the tribals against the British officials. Let's find out what it was related to. Let's understand the first story from the countryside. Story is from Awadh, Uttar Pradesh. Alright. So in Awadh, peasants were led by Baba Ramachandra. Who was he? He was a sannyasi who had earlier been to Fiji as an indentured laborer. Fiji are a group of 330 islands in Pacific Ocean between New Zealand and Australia. It was a British colony, it was a British crown colony that existed from 1874 to 1970. Alright, so he went to Fiji and he worked as an indentured laborer. An indentured laborer is a poor person who agrees to work for an employer for a specific number of years. During this time period, that poor person learns skill or a job, but he has to pay to the employer for the traveling and the living cost. All right. So if they are traveling anywhere, then he has to pay money to the employer and also the living cost. All right. So it was led by Baba Ramachandra, who had been to Fiji as an indentured laborer, and he's a sannyasi. What was the movement against? The movement there was against the talukedars and landlords. What did they do? Who demanded from the peasants exorbitant high rent and variety of taxes. All right. And what else did the peasants had to do? They had to do begar and work at landlord's farm without any payment. Begar is a type of work which you do, and it is a forceful type of work which is asked to be done. That is, you have to work on the field or you have to work in the forest, and for that type of work there is no payment, there is no money given to you. All right. As tenants, so basically these peasants were tenants who had been given lease of land. So they had no security of tenure. They were regularly evicted so that they would not ask for the rights over the lease land. If you are not going to stay on a piece of land for even 1 year or 2 year, you will not have affinity towards that piece of land. You will not start saying that this is my piece of land, I have been working over here from a long time. So you will not claim your rights. That's the reason they would be acquitted regularly from the land which was given to them on lease. Now, what did the peasants demand? These were the problems which the peasants were facing, correct? Now, what did the peasants demand? The peasant movement demanded reduction of revenue, abolition of begar, and social boycott of oppressive landlord. Okay, and what else did they do in order to do so? In order to complete their demand, in many places, Nai Dhobi Bandh were organized by panchayats to deprive landlords of the services of even barbers and washermen. So they had a Nai Dhobi Bandh, and that is a Navi and a Dhobi Bandh, and so that the most of the people from the that is the landlords would not get the services. All right. In June 1920, Jawaharlal Nehru went around the villages in Awadh. He had a word with all the farmers, peasants over there, understood their problem and grievances, and by October, the Awadh Kisan Sabha was established and it was headed by Jawaharlal Nehru, and Baba Ramachandra and few others were its members. So now within a month there are over 300 branches of this Kisan Sabha which have been set up in the villages around the region. Okay. So when the non-cooperation movement began, because this is happening prior to the non-cooperation movement. So when the non-cooperation movement began the following years, the effort of the Congress was to integrate this Awadh peasant struggle into a wider struggle. They want to integrate it with the non-cooperation movement, okay, so that it would also be that it's a non-cooperation against the landlords who are demanding for more taxes and more rent, and also they are asking peasants to do begar, so they were not going to cooperate. So this was going to merge with the non-cooperation movement. Peasant movement, however, developed in the form that the Congress leadership was unhappy, but this peasant movement which developed in this region, so Congress leadership was not happy with the way this movement was unfolding, the way it was shaping up in Awadh. Why? Because as the movement spread in 1921, the houses of talukedars and merchants were attacked. So this was not non-violence, they were using violence over here. That's the reason Congress leadership was not happy. So in 1921, talukedars, houses of talukedars and merchants were attacked. Bazaars were looted and grains hoarded. In many places, local leaders told peasants that Gandhiji has declared that no taxes were to be paid and land was to be redistributed among the poor. So they did tell a lie, for their own benefit. What did this local leaders tell all the peasants and the farmers, the people in the rural area in this region, that Gandhiji has said, Gandhiji has declared that we are not going to pay any taxes and the land has to be redistributed among the poor. The name of the Mahatma was being invoked to sanction all actions and aspiration. It was taken in a wrong way, which Gandhiji had never ever said. For what reason? For their own benefit, for the benefit of these local leaders. In order to sanction all actions, in order to say that all the actions what we are doing is actually right. It is not wrong. Whatever we are doing is not wrong. That is what they were trying to persuade and tell all the farmers over here. But in reality, it was not said by Mahatma Gandhi, and it was a wrong action which was taken in Awadh by the peasants and the local leaders. Now, let's move on to the next story, and it is about the tribal peasants. And against whom? Against the colonial government. Alright. These tribal peasants interpreted the message of Mahatma Gandhi and the idea of Swaraj in yet another way, in their own way. Let's find out what they are trying to tell us. Here, as in other forest region, the colonial government had enclosed large forest area. What had the colonial government done over here? They had enclosed a large forest area. So what was happening because of that? Preventing people from entering the forest to graze their cattle or collect fuel woods and forest. This enraged the hill people. Yes, definitely, it's going to make people angry because you are preventing them for entering the forest, and they are not able to collect their fuel wood, they are not able to collect the fruits, they are not able to take their animal to graze over there. How are they going to survive? All right. Not only were their livelihood affected, but they felt that their traditional rights were denied. Yes. So when the government began forcing them to contribute begar for road building, the hill people revolted. And on top of that, government told them that we have to build a road and that's you have to contribute, you have to do begar. And so then the hill people revolted. The person who came to lead them was an interesting figure. Now, their leader, the leader of these tribal peasants, was an interesting figure. Let's find out who this person is. The name of their leader was Alluri Sitaraman Raju. All right. This person claimed that he had variety of special powers. So Alluri Sitaram Raju claimed that he had variety of special powers. He could make correct astrological predictions and heal people, and he could survive even bullet shots. All right. So that's the reason people started saying him that he is incarnation of God. Captivated by Raju, the rebels proclaimed that he was an incarnation of God. Raju talked of the greatness of Mahatma Gandhi, said he was inspired by the non cooperation movement, and persuaded people to wear khadi and give up drinking. So, these were the two things that he did good, correct? Because he was inspired by Mahatma Gandhi, he had heard about Mahatma Gandhi, and he was inspired by the non cooperation movement too. And so, he started persuading people that you should use khadi, local the cloth which was produced locally, and also give up drinking. But at the same time, he asserted that India could be liberated only by the use of force and not non-violence. So it was totally against what Gandhiji was preaching about ahimsa, non-violence, and Alluri Sitaraman Raju was proclaiming, he said, he asserted that India could be liberated only by use of force. All right. Gudem rebels attacked police stations. So these rebels, these peasants, attacked the police station because they were angry. They had been asked to build up a road. All right, attempted to kill British officials and carried on guerrilla warfare for achieving Swaraj. All right. So as their leader had mentioned that you can use violence. That is the only way to achieve to liberate. All right. So these Gudem rebels, as they were angry, as they had been asked to do begar, and as their livelihood was taken away, forest was enclosed, and so because of this anger they attempted to kill British officials, and they also carried out the guerrilla warfare for achieving their Swaraj. Okay, Raju was captured and executed in 1924 and over time became a folk hero. He became a folk hero because he inspired most of the peoples to fight for their rights, to fight for the wrong which was being done to them. But the way he taught them, all right, the method which he adopted was of violence, all right. But still, he became a folk hero over a time. And ultimately, what has happened? That he was captured and he was executed in 1924. Our next story is related to the movement which took place on the plantations in Assam. Here, workers had their own understanding of Swaraj and also understanding of Mahatma Gandhi. For plantation workers in Assam, here freedom meant that the right to move freely in and out of the confined space. They did not have the freedom to move outside these plantation farms. They were enclosed in the farm because of the Inland Immigration Act of 1859. They had signed a bond because of which they were not permitted to leave the tea garden without permission. They had to work over here on the farms. They had to take the permission of the officials whenever they had to go outside. When they heard of the non cooperation movement, thousands of workers decided that they are going to defy the authorities, they are going to break the rules, and they left the tea plantation and they headed home. They believed that as Gandhi Raj was coming, once they reached their village, they would be given a piece of land on which they could work. But however, when they reach the railway lines near the railway stations, the railways were closed down. Because it was a non-cooperation movement which was going on. Workers did not turn up, so railways and steamers were on strike. All right, so they never reached their destination. They were stranded, and ultimately they were caught by the police and they were brutally beaten up. Now, what do you understand from all the three movements that you have been listening to? That the vision of this movement, the vision of the non cooperation movement, was not clearly defined by the Congress program. It was not clearly told to them, it was not clearly mentioned to the rural people that how they have to behave, how what sort of decisions they have to take, what sort of action should be there in order to achieve this non cooperation, in order to achieve the Swaraj through non cooperation. All right, they understood the term Swaraj in their own way. They imagine it to be a time when all their sufferings would be over. Yet, when these tribes chanted Gandhiji's name and raised the slogan of Swatantra Bharat, they were emotionally able to understand, relate to this non cooperation movement. They were emotionally able to understand the fact that if we defy these laws, if we not cooperate with these laws, if we do not cooperate with the British laws, we would be able to make these Britishers leave the country and we would have our own landmass. All right. But when they acted, and also when they acted in the name of Mahatma Gandhi or linked their movement to that of the Congress, they were identifying with the movement which went beyond the limits of their immediate locality. They were identifying themselves with the movement which was taking place outside the periphery of their village, of the landmass where they were confined to. What led to the withdrawal of the non cooperation movement? Let me tell you a short story. 2 days before the incident, on 2nd February 1922, volunteers participating in the non cooperation movement, led by a retired army soldier named Bhagwan Ahir, protested against the high prices and liquor sale in the market price. Demonstrators were beaten back by the local police. Several of the leaders were arrested and put in lockup at the Chauri Chaura police station. In response to this, a protest against the police was called on 4th February to be held at the local marketplace. On 4th of February, approximately 2000 to 2500 protesters assembled and began marching towards the market at Chauri Chaura. They had gathered to picket a liquor shop in the marketplace. Their leader was arrested, beaten up, and put in jail. Part of the crowd gathered in front of the local police station, shouting slogans demanding the release of their leader. Armed police were dispatched to control the situation. While the crowd marched towards the market and started shouting anti government slogans in an attempt to frighten and disperse the crowd, the police fired warning shots in the air. This only agitated the crowd, who began to throw stones at the police. With the situation getting out of control, the Indian sub inspector in charge ordered the police to open fire on the advancing crowd, killing three and wounding several others. Outnumbered police fell back to the shelter of the police chowki, while the angry mob advanced. Infuriated by the gunfire into their ranks, the crowd set the chowki ablaze, killing all of the Indian policemen and the chaprasis trapped inside. Most were burned to death, though several appear to have been killed by the crowd at the entrance to the chowki, and their bodies thrown back into the fire. In response to the killing of the police, British authorities declared martial law in and around Chauri Chaura. Several raids were conducted and hundreds of people were arrested. Gandhiji went on a 5-day fast. On 12th of February 1922, the Indian National Congress halted the non cooperation movement on the national level as a direct result of the Chauri Chaura tragedy. Gandhiji felt that he had acted too hastily in encouraging people to revolt against the British Raj, without sufficiently emphasizing the importance of ahimsa, that is, non-violence, and without adequately training the people to exercise restraint in face of attack. He decided that the Indian people were ill prepared and not yet ready to do what was needed to achieve independence. So, this was the incidents because of which the non cooperation movement was withdrawn in February 1922. So, what was the significance of this non cooperation movement? Well, it was a large scale mass movement which attracted common people from all the social groups. Non cooperation movement and Khilafat movement went together, so they promoted the Hindu Muslim unity. The peasants and the tribal movement became a part of the Indian national movement, and it was a non-violent movement. So it popularized the Gandhian idea of non-violence and satyagraha. That is non-violent satyagraha.